The chapel door slammed shut behind Zuri Lungi. Candles flickered, casting shadows across unfamiliar faces. Her white dress felt like a straitjacket, suffocating her with every breath. She was 18 years old, standing at an altar in Seoul, about to marry a man she'd never met. A 70-year-old man. Her mind screamed the same thought over and over. He's too old. He can't even satisfy me. What am I doing here? Then he appeared. Kang Daehyun walked toward her with the steady confidence of a predator. Tall, broad-shouldered, silver hair perfectly styled, his presence filled the room like smoke. This wasn't the frail old man she'd imagined. This was something else entirely. He stopped inches from her face. His dark eyes locked onto hers with an intensity that made her knees weak. He leaned close to her ear and whispered, "I will only stop when my child is in your womb." The room seemed to tilt. Zuri's breath caught in her throat. Every word felt like a brand against her skin. The priest continued speaking, but she heard nothing. Only those words, echoing in her skull like a death sentence. 3 weeks earlier, Zuri had been laughing with her sisters in Kawoma District. Her father ran a small import business, nothing fancy, but it kept food on the table. Then the men in black suits arrived. Korean investors. Her father had borrowed money to expand. The deal went bad. The debt ballooned. $2 million, the lead collector said, his Luganda broken, but his meaning crystal clear. "You have 2 weeks." Her father fell to his knees. "I don't have it. Please, give me time." Time? The man smiled without warmth. "The Iron Phoenix clan doesn't give time. We take payment. One way or another." They left. Her father collapsed. Her mother wept. Zuri held her younger sisters, feeling their trembling bodies, knowing their world had just shattered. 5 days later, a different man arrived. Older. Powerful. He stepped out of a black Mercedes like he owned the air itself. Kang Daehyun. He walked into their modest home without invitation, sat in their best chair, and looked directly at Zuri. "Your father's debt," he said in perfect English, "is erased." Her father's head snapped up. "What?" $2 million. Gone. Your family is safe. Daehyun's gaze never left Zuri. One condition. Zuri's stomach dropped. She knew. Before he said it, she knew. "Your daughter becomes my wife." "No," Zuri said immediately. "Absolutely not." Her father grabbed her hand. "Zuri, please. I'm 18. She looked at Daehyun, calculating. "You're 70 years old." 72, he corrected calmly. "Does that change your answer?" "Yes." No. I'm not marrying you." Daehyun stood. "Then I leave. The collectors return tomorrow. Your sisters are very pretty. I wonder what price they'll fetch." Ice flooded Zuri's veins. "You wouldn't." "I wouldn't." "But the men your father owes?" "They absolutely would." He buttoned his jacket. "You have 1 hour to decide." 59 minutes later, Zuri signed papers in both Luganda and Korean. Her father cried. Her mother couldn't look at her. Her sisters clung to her, sobbing. "I'll come back," Zuri promised, lying through her tears. "I'll figure this out and come home." But as the private jet lifted off from Entebbe International, watching Uganda shrink beneath her, she knew the truth. She was never coming back. Seoul glittered below like broken glass. The Silver Moon penthouse occupied the top 3 floors of one of the city's most exclusive buildings. Guards everywhere. Cameras in every corner. Luxury that felt like a prison. Zuri stood in the bridal suite, still wearing the wedding dress. The ceremony had been surreal. No guests. Just hired witnesses. A justice who looked terrified of Daehyun. Vows spoken in Korean that she didn't understand. And that whisper. That promise. That threat. The door opened. Daehyun entered, closing it softly behind him. He'd removed his jacket. His shirt was perfectly pressed, sleeves rolled to reveal forearms corded with muscle. 72 years old, Zuri reminded herself. But nothing about him looked weak. "You're trembling," he observed. "You threatened to impregnate me in front of strangers." "I stated my intention." "There's a difference." He poured 2 glasses of water, offered her one. "Sit." "I prefer to stand." That wasn't a request. Zuri sat. Not because she wanted to. Because something in his voice made defiance feel dangerous. Daehyun sat across from her, maintaining distance. Let me clarify your situation. Your family lives because I allow it. Their safety continues only while you remain my wife. If you run, they die. If you betray me, they die. If you displease me significantly, they die. Do you understand? Tears burned her eyes. I understand. Good. Now the other side. While you are my wife, you are untouchable. My enemies are numerous and creative. Koji Yamazaki, my primary rival, would love to hurt me. Here, under my protection, you're safe. Out there. He gestured toward the window. You'd last maybe 3 days. So I'm a prisoner. You're my wife. There's a difference. Is there? He studied her for a long moment. You have fire. I like that. It will serve you well here. He stood, retrieved a blanket and pillow from the closet. I'll sleep on the couch. Zuri blinked. What? The bed is yours. He began arranging his sleeping space. I don't force children. When you come to me, it will be because you choose it. That whisper was a statement of eventual intent. Not tonight's agenda. He lay down, closing his eyes. Get some rest. Tomorrow your training begins. Training? Good night, Zuri. She stared at him, confused, terrified, and inexplicably disappointed. Eventually, she climbed into the massive bed alone, still wearing the wedding dress, and cried herself to sleep. Morning arrived with Ri De-Seoul, a Korean woman in her 30s with scars on her neck and fire in her eyes. I'm your trainer, De-Seoul said without preamble. Get dressed. We start in 10 minutes. Training for what? Survival. The next 6 weeks blurred together. De-Seoul was relentless. Self-defense. Disarming techniques. Gun handling. Situational awareness. Korean language intensive. Mafia etiquette. How to read a room. How to identify threats. How to kill with everyday objects. You're not just his wife, De-Seoul explained during a brutal sparring session. You're a target. A symbol. A weakness he's never shown before. Every enemy he's made in 50 years will try to use you. Zuri blocked a punch, countered with an elbow strike. Why are you helping me? De-Seoul paused. Because he saved me. 10 years ago, I was trafficked from North Korea. Sold, beaten, used. Daehyun found the operation. Killed everyone involved. Offered me a choice, leave with money or stay and work for him. I stayed. She resumed fighting stance. He's a monster. But he's a monster with rules. And he protects what's his. Daehyun watched sometimes, silent from the doorway. Zuri felt his gaze like physical touch. He never interrupted. Never criticized. Just watched with that unreadable expression. One night, exhausted and bruised, Zuri found him in his study. Why am I learning all this? She asked. He didn't look up from his papers. Because I refused to bury another wife. Another. His pen stilled. My first wife died 40 years ago. Yamazaki's father killed her to hurt me. I was weak then. Unprepared. I won't make that mistake again. You loved her. I was young and stupid. Love makes men weak. Then why marry me? Finally, he looked at her. Really looked. Because I'm 72 years old. My empire is vast and my enemies are many. When I die, everything I built dies with me. Unless I have an heir. So I'm a broodmare. You're the mother of my future. He returned to his papers. There's a difference. Zuri turned to leave, then stopped. For what it's worth, I don't think you're weak. She didn't see his slight smile. The business dinner was Zuri's first public appearance as Mrs. Kang. De-Seoul helped her dress in an emerald silk gown that hugged every curve. When Zuri emerged, Daehyun was waiting in a black suit with an emerald tie. Matching. Intentionally. You look lethal, he said. I learned from the best. Something flickered in his eyes. Pride, maybe. He offered his arm. Stay close. Say little. Watch everything. The restaurant was exclusive, the guests dangerous. Crime lords and legitimate businessmen blended seamlessly. Zuri felt eyes tracking her. Assessing. Judging. Then Koji Yamazaki arrived. He was younger than Daehyun, maybe 60, with cruel eyes and a predator's smile. He approached their table directly. Daehyun, he said in Korean, which Zuri now understood. I heard you acquired a new pet. So young. So exotic. African, they say. My wife, Daehyun corrected coldly. Mrs. Kong. Of course. Yamazaki's eyes crawled over Zuri. Such beauty wasted on an old man. When you tire of her, perhaps I could provide comfort. He reached toward her face. Zuri moved without thinking. Desol's training took over. She caught his wrist, twisted sharply, forced him to his knees. The entire restaurant went silent. I am Mrs. Kang, Zuri said clearly in Korean. Touch me again, and you won't leave Seoul. Yamazaki's face purpled with rage and humiliation. Guards moved forward. Daehyun raised one hand. Everyone froze. My wife has spoken, he said softly, dangerously. I suggest you listen. Yamazaki stumbled away, radiating fury. In the car afterward, Daehyun said nothing. But his hand found hers, squeezed once, and didn't let go. The attack came 3 days later. Zuri and Desol were returning from a safe house visit when the black van cut them off. 3 men emerged with guns. Out of the car, the leader ordered. Mrs. Kong comes with us. Desol moved like lightning, but a bullet caught her shoulder. She went down. Zuri's training kicked in. She grabbed Desol's dropped weapon, fired twice. 1 man dropped. She rolled behind the car, heart hammering. I'm not dying today, she whispered to herself. The next minutes were chaos. Gunfire. Screams. Zuri fought like Desol taught her. Dirty. Desperate. Effective. When silence finally fell, 2 men were dead, 1 unconscious. Desol was bleeding but alive. And Zuri was standing, shaking violently, but standing. Daehyun arrived like a storm. His face was white with rage. He checked Zuri for injuries with shaking hands. You're hurt, she said, noticing blood on his knuckles. Yamazaki did this. His voice was dead calm. Terrifying. Tonight it ends. What are you going to do? He cupped her face gently. What I should have done years ago. He left. Zuri didn't see him for 18 hours. When he returned, he was covered in blood. Zuri was waiting in their bedroom. She should have been terrified. Should have run. Instead, she stood, walked to him, and said, shower. Now. He obeyed wordlessly. She followed him in, still fully clothed. The water turned red around their feet. She took the soap from his hands and began washing him. Gently. Methodically. His shoulders. His back. His arms. You killed him, she said. Not a question. Yes. Good. He turned to face her. You should be afraid of me. I am. But you're mine. She reached up, touched his face. You're dangerous and terrifying and you've done horrible things. But you're mine. Something broke in him. He pulled her close, burying his face in her wet hair. I can't lose you. Then don't. They stood there, water cascading over them, until the blood was finally gone. Later, in his study, Zuri noticed something new on his desk. A photograph. Candid. Her laughing with Desol during training. He'd captured a moment she didn't know existed. How long have you been watching me like this? She asked. He looked up caught. Since the first day. Why? Because you make me want to be a better man. And I haven't wanted to be better in 40 years. Zuri's heart hammered. I miss home. I miss my sisters. I'm terrified every day. But I think about you constantly. When you're gone, I wait for you. When you're here, I want to be closer. I don't understand it. Daehyun stood slowly. It's called choice. You're choosing me. I'm trapped. No. You were trapped. Now you're staying. There's a difference. He closed the distance between them. Tell me to stop. She didn't. The kiss was soft. Gentle. Nothing like she expected from a mafia boss. He touched her like she was precious. Fragile. Sacred. I choose you, she whispered against his lips. Everything changed after that night. Daehyun was still dangerous, still lethal, still feared. But with her, he was soft. Patient. Present. Then came the betrayal. An accountant in the Iron Phoenix clan sold information about their marriage to outside interests. Spread rumors that Zuri didn't belong in Korea. That she was weakness. Daehyun called a meeting of his top lieutenants. Made Zuri attend. He had the accountant brought in, bound and gagged. This man endangered my wife, Daehyun said calmly. He forgot who protects him, who pays him, who gives him purpose. He drew his gun. Looked at Zuri. Look away if you need to. She didn't. The shot echoed. The body fell. Anyone else forget their place? Daehyun asked the room. Silence. Absolute loyalty. Later, Zuri should have been horrified. Instead, she felt strangely safe. He'd killed to protect her. Publicly. Definitively. This is my world now, she told him that night. You don't have to accept it. But I do. Because you're in it. 2 weeks later, Zuri woke up nauseous. Then the next day. And the next. Seoul handed her a pregnancy test wordlessly. Positive. Zuri stared at the 2 lines, panic rising. She was 19 now. He was 72. They lived in constant danger. Their child would be mixed race in a culture that didn't always accept that. Their marriage began as a transaction. What kind of life could they give a baby? She found Daehyun in his study. Placed the test on his desk without words. He stared at it for a long moment. Then his hand shook. Actually shook. Are you upset? She asked quietly. No, his voice cracked. I'm terrified. I'm old. I've done terrible things. I don't deserve this. Don't deserve you. Don't deserve a child. He looked up, and his eyes were wet. But this is my miracle. My second chance. Our child. No regrets, she said firmly. Not a single one. He smiled, that rare, beautiful smile he saved just for her. Grace stirred, opened those impossible eyes. Zuri looked at her daughter and saw the future. Kawoma and Seoul united in one heartbeat. Darkness transformed into light. A transaction that became destiny. People would never understand their story. The age gap. The forced beginning. The violence that surrounded them. But those people didn't matter. What mattered was this: love could grow from the darkest soil. Sometimes the wrong beginning led to the right person. And sometimes, the most unexpected moments created the most extraordinary families. I love you, Daehyun said from the garden. I know, Zuri replied, smiling. I love you too. Grace cooed softly, and the storm clouds broke, letting sunlight stream across the villa. Somewhere far away in Kawoma District, Zuri's sisters were safe. In Seoul, the Iron Phoenix clan operated under new, gentler leadership. And here, in this quiet coastal home, a family thrived. The girl who thought she was being sold to a monster had instead found her home. And the monster who thought he was beyond redemption had found his salvation. Their story shouldn't have worked. But it did. And that made all the difference. If this story of impossible love, second chances, and finding family in the darkest places moved you, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment telling us what you think about Zuri and Daehyun's journey. And smash that like button if you believe love can transform even the most unlikely souls. More powerful stories coming your way soon.